Load.
Hello and welcome to Not Resident Evil.
What are you talking? This is actually a reskin. This is the original core programming that Resident Evil was based on.
It's been a bad couple of weeks for ongoing Let's Drown Out.
I know. The universe itself has basically said, nope.
For some reason, Resident Evil Remasters just decided it's not going to work anymore.
Yeah, like I sat and watched Yards fiddle, and like he did his like hacker shit too. Like
I was getting all hacked up on that. I was quite hacked off. But just crashed on launch every time.
Every time.
Whatever we tried. So don't suggest things, you assholes. The one thing I didn't try was rolling back to my previous video drivers.
I wouldn't even recommend that.
I wouldn't do it anyway because it's too much of a faff and the game's not worth it. So instead, Gabriel racked his brains and decided he wanted to play True Lies on the SNES. So here it is.
We needed something that was going to download quickly, so my brain automatically goes to like SNES and Mega Drive and shit.
That should, and in turn to True Lies, which will tell you a lot about Gabriel's psyche.
Which it was a fun action movie from the 90s, and the game itself is actually weirdly good.
Oh yes, it was an Arnold Schwarzenegger film, directed by James Cameron. And we're just
it had blood in it, which was fairly rare for a SNES. So yeah, it's a little top-down walk-around shooter, which I really enjoy. You got like a sort of button that lets you lock your direction so you can like kill bastards.
Alright.
Which you do need because it gets a bit chaotic. There's a roll that lets you avoid danger.
This is surprisingly modern in its mechanics.
Yeah, you can swap weapons.
You can lock, you can dodge roll.
Can't kill that guy because he's a
what's he doing surrounded by armed terrorists and still serving wine?
No one notices that there's murder going on.
Apparently not. Like that guy who's just walking back and forth.
Yeah.
Who are having a very important conversation. Where he's probably talking to a Hollywood mogul. Going, yes, CB, right, CB, anything you want, CB.
Yeah. And,
we're just gunning down all the guests at this formal party who are all clones of ourselves.
Yeah.
Except
but it's Schwarzenegger getting rid of the Schwarzenegger clones. So this is actually also the game of 6 Days.
Yeah, I was about to say, The Sixth Day.
That
movie where...
Right.
Look.
Don't
shoot that woman who walked right in front of your gun.
I know. Like, this is one of those weird suicide cult things, or just like euthanasia enthusiast parties.
This is just shoot people who have a gun. That's not very American. They could just be practicing their right to open carry. That is a very retro interface, though.
Oh, I know, like the really big, like, there's a big fucking bar of information on the bottom. Oh, that guy's...
Face of main character, check. LCD-based font, check.
That is the best way to... just shot him in the chest, he's like, no, wine must be decanted.
That goes beyond a stiff upper lip.
Yeah.
Well, he's not decanting the wine. He's just sort of carrying it around.
Right,
he's the wine courier.
That's a dignitary. Ooh,
he's not the... sommelier? Is that the word?
I think that's a wine expert.
I'm pretty sure a wine server in a posh restaurant is a sommelier.
Might be, but I know a friend of mine in the booze industry whose brother's a sommelier, and it was his job to go around and talk about wine.
What's that guy wearing on his head?
Let's explore.
Is he a mason?
I think he's been invaded and taken over by robots.
Or he's just Jewish and is wearing a skull cap and a weird shirt with a no symbol on the front.
I think he's like meant to be. I think that's a dignitary. Like he's a.
I'm going with Mason.
All right,
that's a Freemason.
He's a dignitary from the Masons. They're a nation of Mason.
If we could, if we could get a different camera angle, we could see one of his trouser legs is rolled up.
And there are no camera angles in this, unfortunately. Boom. Oh, sorry.
And if he meets another Mason, they'll do a weird handshake. That was just her husband.
Yeah. Shoot him in the face one more time for me, would you please?
They're estranged.
Oh, shit.
Oh, hey. We're bringing out the big leagues now.
Oh, that guy dies. That guy dies good.
This reminds me of the incredibly annoying section of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, where you're running around the German castle top down, interacting with guards.
Was that the, point and click?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any other Last Crusade game. Might have been like an arcadey one for consoles.
Yeah, there were... Master System Mega Drive had a Last Crusade game.
Are you sure? I know there was a Temple of Doom console arcade
No, there was definitely...
game. There's definitely a Last Crusade one?
Last Crusade, yeah.
Well, hush my mouth.
And there was Indiana Jones' Greatest Adventures for the SNES. Oh, look at the portrait of a Xeno woman, a trans.
There's something really fucked up with that lady's hairline.
Yeah.
And proportions.
She's one of the transitional ladies from Transmetropolitan.
Okay.
There's a lot of like universe blending in this. That was what was great about True Lies.
This is quite bloody for a SNES game, isn't
Yeah,
it?
like
I'm guessing this was pretty firmly third-party developed.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, well we knew at the start we had that software for some entity called Beam Software. I wonder
Which,
what
if
happened
memory
to them.
serves, were quite good in the old days.
I'm
Like,
going to look them up. Whatever happened to them?
Yeah, let's explore.
I'll look them
let's
up
learn.
with my handy pad.
Yeah, we have to like. Okay, those bullets don't count if they go off screen. All right, well we'll figure that out. Gotta keep an eye on my.
Well, that's a standard memory saving trick, isn't it? Only render what's actually on screen.
Ugh. Fuck you, die. Ah, I thought you were a waiter.
That can't be right.
What?
Beam Software used to be Chrome Studios Melbourne.
That can't be right.
Well, they are currently Chrome Studios Melbourne and used to be Beam Software.
Huh.
That would be alarmingly close to home, coincidentally.
Yeah.
I mean, we know some guys who work in Chrome Brisbane, or used to.
Back when there was a Chrome.
Die.
Yeah, like Blood. Because back in the one of the earlier hysterical...
They were granted a developer's license by Nintendo, but doesn't say specifically True Lies yet. Let's see if there's an actual list. Well, they worked on Smash TV for the NES, so that's relevant.
Ow. Stupid.
Here we go. There it is. True Lies, 1995 for the SNES.
Well, that'll be goddamned.
What a coincidence. Old Chrome Studios, Melbourne.
Yeah. Look at them. They actually made good games.
Well, they made this game.
Oh, good game.
Well, I'm yet to be fully convinced.
Okay. You have to bear in mind the standard of, like, fucking action games for the SNES.
I mean,
like,
every character kind of
especially-
looks the same. And that's a weird pain animation that guy's got.
I think it's rad.
He goes, "Mammy!" and throws his hands out. Mammy!
Oh, I ran out of ammo.
This is why we're killing everyone, because they're big racists.
Yeah, we're getting rid of cultural appropriation. One Arnold Schwarzenegger slaughtering Rampage at a time.
Yeah, these are blackface dudes.
Yeah.
Olive-skinned blackface dudes.
Stop oppressing.
Olive face.
Olive face.
Mammy! That is obviously not a real fire. That is a gas fire, because you can see where all the burners
Yeah.
switch to the next one.
Which is an exceptional piece of detail, once again, from the fine artists at
Yeah,
Beam.
this is the house of the nouveau riche. Posh partygoers. Now get the heck out of there! Blood, fine. Swearing, not so much.
That's fucking AMC and Walking Dead, man. They'll show a kid get actually ripped to pieces, but they won't have someone say fuck.
Yeah.
That is
See, a
really
lot of
weird to me.
A lot of censorship feels like it's following the letter rather than the spirit of the law.
Yeah.
Like how Dark Knight was PG-13 just because there's no blood in it. But there's some very, very alarming scenes in that. The pencil trick springs to mind.
That is, yeah, that's conceptually... It's like the difference when a game's described as mature. Like, in no universe would I describe any of the Mortal Kombat games as mature.
No, definitely not.
Killer 7, on the other hand...
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck you'd call that.
Dude, there's a...
But I'd
cripple gets raped. I think any game with cripple rape is...
I'd hesitate
fucking-
at mature. It's more sort of its own category of things.
I slammed the door in your face.
Oh, for the
Jerk.
Hotline Miami mechanic, where if you slam doors in people's faces, they fall over.
I'd say games like this were really the precursor to things like Hotline
Yeah, this
Miami.
is quite Hotline Miami, isn't it?
Get out of the way,
It's just
you
there's
fucking...
things you're not supposed to kill. Oh no!
Now Tom Arnold's mad at me. Oh, I killed an innocent...
He actually put a joke in.
Yeah, well, you know, Tom Arnold, he was the comic relief in this.
Well, they actually
He's not a... No,
actually seem to have done some competent copywriting. Unusual for a SNES game.
We have the fine Australians at Beam to thank for that. Good
Chrome.
shit!
Chrome.
Well, weren't they Beam at this point?
Yes.
Yeah. Duck and weave. Float like a butterfly, shoot like a Schwarzenegger.
So, I guess this is going to get pretty monotonous.
Yep.
Walk around, shoot guys in suits. Has Arnie got a gay little ponytail at the back?
No.
It kind of looks like he's got.
Shit!
Kind of looks like he's got one of those tiny rat tails.
Yeah, I think
Ponytails.
that's a pixel issue, because he definitely didn't in the movie. It was just usual fucking... Okay, good! Good!
Yeah,
Correct!
That guy's smart. That guy's
Yeah.
figured it out. Although that newspaper's not going to help him much.
No, but at least that says, don't shoot me.
Duck and cover.
Yeah, that...
He's reduced
you know.
his silhouette.
Kind of works for bullets. Alright, I'm upgrading the fucking Uzi. I'm getting sick of this shit.
Upgrades as well.
Oh yeah, you get heaps of different, like, weapons. I think I got a grenade in there. I gotta remember what button it is. Ow!
Man, he should work on the spread of that, whatever
Alright, what'd I just
got.
do? Alright, now let's roll. Okay, so I've switched to my grenade. Oh.
Quite a fuse that thing's got.
Alright, so I'm not gonna lie, that is not the greatest.
Could have been better, yeah. Where? Mummy? See how he dodges bullets nimbly by serpentining.
Oh, okay. That's... You can't walk when I'm, like, wielding the Uzi, but I can fucking sort of aim it crudely.
I see.
Alright, that's...
It's Resident Evil 4 rules. Can't move while shooting.
Oh, in the face! Shit.
Oh no, you're bleeding out and dying. And here's a... here's a man with a bald head. Are you cheating, you big cheat?
Yeah.
Of course you are.
That was what the password I put in at the start was. That's Art Malik, the, vaguely Middle Eastern terrorist.
She played the villain in that. Back while it was still acceptable to do that sort of thing.
Isn't it still, I guess? But
I don't think
you have to show a difference between, like...
I think the trend for most Hollywood films these days is that the villain has to be white supremacists.
Well, I figure it's like... They can be, like, Arab terrorists, but there has to be, like, an Arab good guy as well. To show that they're not all like that.
Yeah, I mean...
Alright, now this is just playing silly buggers. People, get the fuck...
Art Malik's depiction in True Lies was definitely not a... Oh, you did it again. More cynical humour. Yeah, hang your head in shame.
Are you fucking serious?
Okay, so the cheat doesn't apply to that then.
Alright, well, nuts to this.
Better be more careful.
That is terrible. That whole room sucks. I don't think I'm gonna bother shooting in that room.
Oh well. Takes us back to classic Drown Out, where we just play boring things. And not finish them.
Actually, I don't have to shoot at all.
Oh, okay.
I'm immortal. So
This really is turning into a Dark Souls run, isn't it? Gotta get to the boss fight.
Precursor of Dark Souls.
Just roll through all the enemies and get to the boss fight. Speaking of which...
It just occurred to me.
What?
The guys aren't shooting at me because I haven't shot anybody.
Oh, they didn't realise you're a threat, because everyone's carrying guns around apparently.
I'm Doug, I'm new from security.
See, should have taken the peaceful
this game
approach.
has depth. Look at this!
Well then, where's the challenge then? If you just not shoot
Well, not
anyone?
every level's like this. Like, there are levels where it's just like, this cunt's gotta die.
This is the Hitman Blood Money phase.
Yeah. I don't need health, because I'm magic and good. I haven't ticked anybody off, because I'm pretty sure they all activate... Alright, well, that guy's upset with me now. I think I'm in an area I'm not supposed to be.
I was replaying Dark Souls 1 again this morning. Did the Bed of Chaos boss fight.
Yes.
Which I think we're agreed is the most bloody awfulest of all the bloody awful boss fights.
I think it's an inevitability of...
Not even because it's hard, it's just because...
It's dicky, yeah.
It's a roll of the dice, really.
Yeah, that's... There was another boss like that in 3, where it was like, it's not that it's hard, it's just sort of shit, and feel like there are random elements in it.
Was it the big bony skeleton man?
Yeah, like, I don't know why I was able to beat him the second time so easily, but the first time, he was just cripplingly hard. Like, I didn't feel like I did anything better, and yet...
Well, a question occurred to me while I was playing the Bed of Chaos boss fight, was what would you do to fix it? I mean, assuming we can't say not put it in, and assuming we're looking for a quick, easy change that could make it good.
What are they trying to accomplish with the Bed of Chaos?
Well, it's a sort of alternative to a boss fight, I think.
And it's one of those ones where it's like, oh, we're going to be tricky.
Yeah, so it's not so much fighting the boss as usual. It's about...
It's a puzzle that you're figuring out.
It's about moving to 3 specific locations in the area without getting killed or falling off the collapsing floor. And most of the time the enemy's attacks brush you into the fallen area, into the bottomless pit. So I applied my massive brain and thought, what would I do to fix this boss fight? And it occurred to me, the simplest thing to do, put a room under the boss fight. So it's not a bottomless fall. Just fall into a room full of stuff you don't like maybe a poison bog or just a lot of enemies.
Or one of those big Titanite demons.
Yeah, and then some stairs leading you back up to the fight. And then bingo, that's all you have to do. Then it's not a bloody annoying slog back to the boss fight every time you get brushed off into the bottomless pit.
Yeah, like there was a reason. It wasn't very close. And by that stage, the enemies are enough of a hassle that sometimes, because you had to like get through all those stupid fire statues.
Yeah, I'd usually go there from the Daughter of Chaos bonfire. Under where you fight Quillag, because there's a lift goes down and then there's a shortcut. Go across a bridge and you get back to Izalith, but there's a Titanite demon in the way, but he's fairly easily skirted around. If you
I'd
keep
usually
an eye on
kill
with
him
the shield up.
just to...
Well, he takes a really long time to kill with most weapons.
Yeah, that's a strangely like fucking durable Titanite demon by that stage.
Well, they're all pretty durable.
He was. Are we talking about the one on the bridge?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was way stronger because by that stage, you're just cleaning up Titanite demons.
Well, there's one in Anor Londo that's got the same amount of health. The one just in the room, out of nowhere.
Oops.
You did it again, but he didn't die though.
That's Mr. Sensible. I like him. He deserves to live.
They should all fall on their face when you shoot them once.
Yeah.
Because that's a sensible thing to do.
If I heard shots, I'd probably be like, this party's winding down.
Well, yeah, if it was a party setting, I'd assume it was fireworks.
Yeah, I suppose your first thought wouldn't be like Schwarzenegger Rampage. Although, I mean, do you think the people here would know that it's like terroristy? Like, do you think everyone here is like, I like terror?
Well, as we established, this is a Freemason meeting.
Alright, well, they're terrorists. You know, they're just of a different shit.
Oh, you did it again.
Alright, fuck it, I'm going to safety mode.
If it's a risk between that or getting shot, go for getting shot, because you're invincible, lest we forget.
They will never grow old, for they have used a cheat.
Yes. You're the...
This room's bullshit.
You're the counter-terrorist who never grew up. They're not shooting you, though.
Oh, yeah, I'm back down where I should be. That's...
Oh, no.
Nope, I touched one.
Yeah.
They're upset.
Yep.
Out of the way, please. Excuse me. Thank you.
You spilled his drink. No, that's a... Oh, I thought that was a party guest.
No, he had a gun. He had a gun. I double-checked.
Is that it, then? Good work, Harry. You only murdered 2 innocent people.
You know.
Oh, they were probably guilty of something.
Yeah. Run! Run!
So this isn't closely following the plot of the film at this point, is it?
Oh no, that was the downhill.
I don't remember much about it, to be honest. I just remember Jamie Lee Curtis being weirdly sexy.
Nothing weird about that.
I mean, it's weird that you'd think of Jamie Lee Curtis as sexy at that stage in her life. She was getting on a bit.
You gotta work it, though. I think that's... Fucking stop skiing at me, you dick. Huh, interesting. Alright, so when you roll, you can come up out of a roll with a shot, but, like, you're sort of stuck facing that direction.
You get a roll attack. I wouldn't have figured that was Art Malik looking at it. It looks like he's got really severe pattern baldness.
No, it looks a little bit like, I can't remember his name, but he was only in like 6 films. He was Fredo from Godfather, and he was also in Dog Day Afternoon and stuff.
I was thinking he looked a bit like one of the lone gunmen from the X-Files.
Which one? Oh, yeah, kind of one with the long hair. He does have a big...
The one with the sort of receding hairline and long hair.
He has a lot of forehead, that dude.
Yeah, the forehead individual.
Why
Why are these gentlemen angry at us?
Well,
we shot all their party guests.
Yeah,
these are just the local police.
I also tampered with their modem, and now they can't...
Not our modem!
Yeah, they can't read about anime porn on the internet.
Now how will we spend 5 hours downloading mods for Quake 1?
Hooray!
So if you haven't seen True Lies, the film, it's about a dude who's a secret agent but who balances a normal life, and his wife and kids don't suspect.
Art Malik.
Oh man, he looks like Willy Wonka. I wonder how they're going to do the bits of the film that don't involve gunfights.
Well, Yahtzee.
I guess
they're going to add gunfights.
I guess they're not going to. Yes, quite. I see that directory was drawn by Mysterio.
Take that, Mysterio. I know you're behind all this.
It's weird how many of Spider-Man's villains did the purple and green thing. I guess to contrast with the red and blue. Green Goblin, he was purple and green and all.
Yeah, he was. Uncle Furries!
That's a tourist.
I should probably shoot him just in case, because tourists.
Well, tourists, terrorists, if you're George W. Bush, there's not a whole lot of difference in pronunciation, at least.
Same thing. Same goddamn.
Oh, look at that guy, he's got a retro mobile.
Oh,
Complete with little aerial.
the bricks.
Excuse me, just gonna have a gunfight, like, through you. Try not to panic or
I think it's bullshit that the terrorist bullets don't hit them.
Shouldn't the terrorists have, like, secured all these hostages? Made them, like, kneel down, put their hands
I don't think they're
behind
very
their
good
heads?
at this. Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess not. It's that, 80s action film kind of terrorist. They're not actually doing any for any sort of ideology. They just want to run into a place and shoot everyone.
Yeah,
It's
they're jealous of freedom.
It's the Death Wish style of... they weren't even terrorists. They were just, tearaways in the Death Wish films. We're just going to run into a street where lots of old retired people and foreigners live and shoot them because we're looking for kicks. And this is Reagan's America.
We're afraid of the youth. Things have changed. Traditional morals have collapsed. Alright, that was good. A newspaper guy got blown up and I didn't get the blame. So that's a pleasant. Oh, kind of nicked an old lady there, but she's fine. She's good.
Collateral damage.
There's Donald Trump in the Make America Great Again hat.
Oh, yeah. So it is. But then isn't everyone Donald Trump
We are
at this
all
resolution?
Trump.
There's a man with a pompadour.
Yeah.
Even that grandmother is Donald Trump. He's trying to get the women's vote back.
Gonna make America great. That's what I'm doing right now with my shotgun of greatness.
Well, the more bullets there are in America, the greater it gets.
Yeah, it's
So
like a health bar
you're-
of greatness.
You're doing your bit. Well, I'm bored. Let's go to questions.
Yeah.
But we have to run SNES in full screen because Fraps doesn't like it any other way, so I'm going to have to go to my iPad.
Fraps, it's frequently inconvenient.
Gabe,
Yes. Shit, that hurt.
do you have any interesting pieces of Australian folklore or urban legends to share that we may not have heard? Yahtzee, do you have any British ones we may not have heard? That's from Cloak and Dagger 42.
Well, I mean, there are sort of Australian variations on common elements, like, we have a thing that's like the Yeti, but it's called a bunyip.
Oh, yeah.
And it kind of hangs around. Except it's kind of got really long limbs in all the tellings I've heard of it, so it's...
Yeah, we've all got our local monsters, haven't we?
Yeah. There's an area in New South Wales where people believe a circus panther got let loose and has been sort of just wandering around.
There's a similar story relating to the British Bargest, or
Isn't that sounds
Or
like...
beast-
Isn't that from...
Beast of Bodmin Moor.
Yeah.
It's sort of a large, black, cat-like monster that's been sighted on the moors and in the more rural areas of Britain. So there's that.
Ooh, almost nicked an old lady.
What about urban legends, relating to human beings and the national character and stuff?
I've heard... I mean...
Slapheads?
What does that store possibly sell?
Wigs, I presume.
Hope so.
Or slaps to the head.
Yeah. Big jobs.
Okay, this is... That's let's see what we can get away with humor, that is.
Yeah.
Let's see if Nintendo actually notices these things.
I don't care.
Seal
of approval.
Now that we know this was made by Chrome Melbourne, that makes sense. Because
Pieces
that's
of
the
coming
sort of
together.
that's the sort of cheeky thing an Australian localizer might do.
Yeah. Because back in the day, you just assumed that someone in Japan wrote that, and then you'd sort of not think about it anymore.
I mean, I've seen like Rick and Aid sketches where they say big jobs like it's a big swear word.
Yeah. This is exactly what Republicans think having transgender people in the bathroom is going to do.
They're all just emerging from out
Yeah.
of the toilet.
Yeah, this is what happens.
They climb up the
See,
pipes.
I don't know what your genitals are, so now you just, like, infinitely spawn. Oh, okay.
They're human turds.
I actually have to destroy the urinals to stop infinite transgender spawn.
What doesn't make sense about that?
Hey, it's a perfectly sensible way to, base policy. Oh, that's right, this is a boss dude. He's got a shotgun and he's angry. Oh, gotcha there. We're playing tag. Playing toilet tag with shotguns.
The Australian story I like that's not really folklore because it actually happened was the TV show that got pulled halfway through its pilot by Kerry Packer.
That was...
Kerry Packer ringing up his studio and saying, get that shit off the air.
Yeah, that was Australia's most tasteless home videos.
I thought it was Australia's naughtiest home videos.
That might have been it, yeah. Because I know there were two. One that got, yeah, and basically... It was funniest home video show, but with dicks. And if I remember correctly, the bit that got it done was this big Samoan dude playing airplane with his kid in the backyard wearing a sarong. The sarong comes off, and there's just like this fucking arm of giant fat Samoan dude schlong wobbling around on Channel 9.
Okay.
Yeah, that was... And bear in mind, this was like in 1991 or some shit. Like, this was a while ago. This is when people were still upset about, like...
You don't have a watershed in this country, do you? You don't have a watershed in this country, do you?
Watershed?
A point during the day when, after which you're allowed to show adult themes on television.
Oh yeah, we sort of do. Like, if memory serves, because...
Harry takes the horse back.
Right.
This has no additional explanation. Aziz!
Well, it's expecting you've seen the film.
We know an Aziz. He was erased from history.
Because things like, Sopranos was played completely uncensored after 9 o'clock. So I think there is one, but it's...
Yeah, it's
like
9
in
o'clock.
Australia's...
It's 9 o'clock in the UK.
Yeah. Australia can be like a little bit funny about it, like with what they
Blah, 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 blah. Man, that guy's schooling you.
He's a fucking ninja. Look at him running around. I gotta waddle like this.
You should dodge roll more.
Oh yeah.
Dark Souls, remember?
Dark Souls. That's right, it's Uzi time.
Okay. While we're talking about television, you mentioned in passing and a long while ago that you had issues with Breaking Bad. What are they? That's from Duckworth Paddington.
I think his attachment to, whatever the fucking kid was called, I can't remember. I don't know, it's...
Which kid?
Well, you know, there's Heisenberg and the fucking meth kid. Because I watched the first, like...
Jesse.
Yeah, Jesse, that's it. His attachment to him was started feeling really artificial and stupid, and it was written during the, writer's strike. And originally Jesse was gonna die.
Right.
And I think that kind of shows in some of the plot developments that happen that I just think are fucking asinine. Largely, I don't think it's like that bad a show. I just, you know, when I say I don't like it that much, people seem to flip out because it's like their god. You know, this is one of those things where people like fucking Breaking Bad so fucking much that not liking it a little is enough to qualify as you saying you hate it.
Yeah, it's generally accepted as a thing everyone likes.
Yeah, I just
like Game of Thrones.
Care for it.
Seen the new episode?
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Mine had hard-coded Russian subs.
They're drawing out the inevitable Jon Snow resurrection, aren't they?
Yeah, I really thought they were just going to cover that in like the first 5 minutes of the...
Yeah, I figured they'd get it out of the way because everyone knows they're going to do it. Maybe they'll surprise us yet.
I'd be actually impressed by that.
But if they're not doing it, I don't know why they've established where the corpse is and that they're going to use the Red Woman.
Yeah, hiring him to like lay about. I mean, it's an amazing fake out if it's a fake out, but I don't want them to get too much into that, like, let's muck around with audience expectations over let's write the story properly.
I heard a theory, and it's just a theory, so
Change weapon, you
if
bastard.
this is actually true, then don't blame me for spoiling, because I didn't know it was real. I heard a theory that they're not going to resurrect Jon Snow. The lady's just going to illusion someone to look like him.
Huh.
Because she says he had a premonition of seeing him fighting in Winterfell.
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
That'd be one way to get out of it in the slightly less obvious way.
Yeah. I thought that would feel, you know, it's kind of feeling like...
Well, you sort of abandon the development of Jon Snow as a character, don't you? Because then it's just a fake Jon Snow forever. And if there's any sort of, let's just say, some kind of revelation about his paternity crops up,
which is the other big fan theory.
Yeah, then it's not going to have any impact if it's not actually him.
That's... I don't know. I figure they'll just do the same thing. Thanks, Tom Arnold. Tom Arnold needs to help out in games that he's not related to at all. I think it'd be great. He just pops up in like the next Mario.
That's the actor's name, is it? Tom Arnold?
Yeah, he was married to Roseanne for a while. So...
Are you sure?
Yes. That is... Tom Arnold was married to Roseanne.
Oh, like in real life?
Yeah.
Because I was thinking in the sitcom when she was married to John Goodman.
No, yeah, that was the fantastic John Goodman. And the quite alright Roseanne, which I watched all of and kind of went a little bit peculiar by the last season.
Don't they always? That's why they should only do 6 episodes a season, like British comedy shows. Concentrate the quality, and then you don't go mad trying to come up with new ideas.
They won the lottery in the last season, and then it was all a dream, and a bunch of other weird shit happened.
Why does everything turn out to be a dream, it turns out?
Yeah.
Wait, does Roseanne tie into any other shows like St. Elsewhere did?
You know, possibly. My first thought is no, but then...
If that in some way ties into the...
we can go deeper.
Yeah, the Tommy Westfall universe, then it's layers within layers now, isn't it?
I think we're part of the Tommy Westmore universe. We just don't
I think
know.
we made that joke last time we brought it up. If you could meet anyone in history, who would it be and why? From Chuck Testicles. I'd like to meet Genghis Khan.
I don't think that'd be a very...
Well,
I'd just like to go over very well.
Well, I'd just like to maybe
see him from a distance.
I'd just like to strongly suggest he not burn all the libraries of the Ottoman Empire and the Persian Empire, because
how do you think that meeting would go?
Because it turns out those were handy.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with your intention. I'm just... Look, Genghis, here's some random foreigner talking in a language we don't understand, trying to tell you how to not burn and pillage.
Well, obviously I'd do some prep.
Okay. Please take me through this. I want to live this scene. This sounds like so much fun. Like, I love the idea of what's your prep? How do you prep this?
Well, since we're fantasizing, because time travel isn't real either.
I want this.
We'll invent the kind of time travel where instead of traveling physically back in time, we do the quantum leap style.
Okay, so you're quantum leaping. Okay.
Where we jump into the body of his most trusted lieutenant.
All right.
And say, hey, how about we don't burn this wisdom and not set back civilization for centuries.
You've taken leave of your senses, trusted advisor. I will burn the foreigners and all their nonsense scribbles. We need not for that.
I'm just saying, some of them have got guns and we don't.
I love any day that ends with us talking about saying I'm just saying to Genghis Khan. Tickles me just right.
That's the real Arnie there.
Yeah, it really is.
Same face, just different shading. Gabe. Oh, hang on. Is there anyone you want to meet in history and why?
Probably go back to ancient Rome. Okay. I'd like to meet a few of them. I'd like to meet a few of the old, like proto-scientists who had the exact right idea way before they possibly could, and were sort of harassed and persecuted because of it.
Well, like Copernicus.
Probably earlier than that. There were a few from sort of ancient Roman era which had no business being so on the money as to what they...
Well...
just sort of go back and just go, you know, you were right.
Can't have been persecuted 100%. As badly as the Catholic Church did.
Oh no, it wasn't that brutal, but it wasn't fun.
The Roman Catholic Church. Gabe, would you consider Yahtzee slightly autistic? By Ed Wooger.
Slightly? Well, I mean, we joke, but I mean an actual...
Yeah, I'm able to hold down a conversation.
Yeah, like, I don't know. We joke, but there's a difference between, like, the sort of general level of shut-in, maybe socially inexperienced, and actual fucking autism.
I can't be a shut-in because, as I was saying to my friends in the bar last night, if I actually stay indoors for too long, I start to feel edgy and like I'm going mad.
That is called cabin fever.
And I have to go out and...
see people. That's cabin fever.
Have a drink, meet
very,
someone.
very, very natural, very common.
We were talking about, like friends who were, like, younger brothers who were content to just stay in the parents' house, stay in their room and play World of Warcraft all day. And, like, I'm not sure how you could possibly do that without wanting to kill yourself.
Well, a lot of them do. And, you know, we just need a social outlet, and I think that World of Warcraft is that for people.
Hardly.
Well, yeah, to you and me.
It's not a patch on actually being in person and being able to read all the cues and have a conversation with someone who's not online.
Well, yes, I mean, you and I know that, but they, you know, perhaps don't have that sort of level of life experience or see the, you know, the sort of risks and fears and anxieties associated with going out and talking to people as being,
No, I think I disagree. I think relying on the online contact as a social connection is more detrimental than otherwise.
I wouldn't suggest that it isn't. I'm just saying that it's, you know, there are situations where I think it's better than nothing, but you want to sort of build on that. Which is why I always tell people, like, get out. You know, there are lands, there are hobbies that, you know, there are things you can do.
I'm not sure it is better than nothing, because you'll come away with an extremely negative opinion of most of the human race.
Manage that going out.
Well, they don't. That's just what we're talking about.
No, but I'm saying people can manage an extremely negative view of the human race without sitting around playing, like, and be social at the same time. I mean, the two aren't, you know, it's not just sitting around in isolation playing fucking World of Warcraft that can give you a negative view of you know, people.
Well, I would argue that you have people without the context in that scenario.
Well, yeah, but I mean, again, is it an environment that people are comfortable in?
You have people without being restrained by the super egos of society.
Well, yeah, but not everyone's like that. Even on the internet, you know, you find little communities of people who are nice to each other and who are, you know, friendly and what have you.
Doesn't take much for them to turn, though. It just needs an outsider.
No, yeah. Again, I'm not arguing these points. I'm just saying that there are positives to it. I don't think it's a universal negative, and I think that while I would recommend that one build on that sort of social thing to actually leaving the house.
What's making that stagnant pond ripple game? If it's windy, why aren't the trees moving? Game.
See, this is why Australian game devs went out of business. It's
yes.
lack of attention to detail.
Yeah, assholes.
Fucking dicks.
Before you struck internet gold with 0 punctuation, what were some of your old jobs? From Kanji Gold.
Yahtzee Crucial versus the World, look it up.
That wasn't a job. Well, I worked... My very first job was working in a supermarket.
When was that?
Oh, I hadn't even left high school, I was like 16. That was shit. I did...
were you a stalker or were you a checkout chick?
I was a stalker. I worked at EB Games as a Christmas temp. That was shit as well. My next job was where I found...
Why'd you hate EB Games?
The manager was an asshole.
What'd they do? Give us a little...
He smelled.
Alright.
I mean, to the point where...
Whoops!
Like,
can't shoot karate.
To the point where customers were walking in, inhaling, and walking out again.
Wow.
Yeah, he like...
Normally it's the customers at an EB that fucking stink.
We had staff meetings where we were going like, one of us is going to have to break this to him.
Oh.
And he was sack happy as well.
Right.
But after that I found my niche when I started doing temporary data entry jobs for a surveying company. That was fun, just sit at a desk all day. Your niche. Well, it meant, you know, I could enter the data rapidly because I had a good typing speed, and between it I could fuck around. I could work on stuff I was writing.
Boom.
That's how I was able to update my old website once a day. Did a bit more of that once I got to Australia, just going through like temping agencies. And just before 0 punctuation took off, I used to write the odd article for Hyper magazine. And that's about it in terms of paid work.
Some early Hyper articles you're particularly proud of?
Not really. They just wanted fluff stuff to fill space between ads, really.
That's
That's print journalism these days. I was always...
That's old journalism.
I wrote some articles for like pro bono for an unpaid website, and they edited me more than the print magazine did, who paid me for it. Anyway.
Pro bono. So what was, like, give us one, do you remember one of the names of your articles for Hyper?
It was just, fluff stuff. I wrote
I
wrote a piece about, I think it was, it's kind of proto BuzzFeed stuff. Like a list of terrible game-related films.
Okay.
List of news stories about injuries associated with excessive video game play, which I thought was a fun thing to read. Guitar Hero Wrist was a thing for a while.
I remember that.
And when there were kids who used live vibrating controllers 24/7 and ended up with a disease normally seen only in operators of pneumatic drills.
Really?
Yeah. How do you add gay or bi characters into video games without it feeling hollow or token? By Dark Railor 3. Well, what you've done wrong there is setting out specifically to add a gay or bi character.
I'd like a token. How do I make this not tokeny?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. It has to be natural and organic. I know some gay and bi people, so that might naturally crop up in something I create. If you don't, adding it feels artificial.
Yeah, I mean, write characters, just decide what you need them to do in the story, have them do it, right? Their dialogue
Ow.
feels natural, and eventually it might make sense from what you've written that they might be gay. I mean, I firmly believe J.K. Rowling didn't intend Dumbledore to be gay when she started writing the books. I think that's just something that makes sense in retrospect.
I've never read the books, so I wouldn't. Have you read them?
Well, most of them.
I don't know enough about like that.
He's got that sort of, you know,
my exposure to the Harry Potter
Stephen
universe
Fry-esque schoolmastery charm.
Alright. Because my exposure to the Harry Potter universe is I had to watch the movies because my girlfriend loved Harry Potter.
Well, you've watched the movies. Does he come across as a big bender?
Not
in the
really.
nicest possible way.
I mean,
well, that's the best kind of gay character, then, isn't it?
well, that's yeah. When you say Stephen Fry, it sort of clicks a bit more because he comes across as that old kind of just a cuddler.
Yeah, doesn't come favourite uncle. Not the one that touched you in the bath.
That was the transgender uncle.
No, it wasn't.
That's what they
Stop
do.
getting us into trouble.
Read it on the internet.
Thinking back, thinking back, it would make sense if I decided out of nowhere that Trilby was gay.
I can kind of see that.
Yeah, because he dresses well. He's not that interested in girls. I mean,
Mickey.
all the ones he encounters, some of them even make passes at him, and he's just completely a brick wall to it.
I thought that was just a natural extension of your own anxiety with the opposite sex, but
Probably, but death of the author and all that. We can retcon.
So Trilby is now a little gay. He's just not very sexual, but he's kind of like Sherlock gay. Like,
look, death of the author. I'm not going to say that's canon. I'm going to say that at the point where I depict him having sex with a man, that's when you can call it canon. In the meantime, if you'd prefer to assume he's gay, go nuts.
alright. Trilby's notes. They're all men's numbers. Yeah, it's one of the, like, again, people write from their experience. So
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have written Trilby as gay as I was writing him because
how many gay people did you know?
Well, at the time, none.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I now know a grand total of 3, I think.
Yeah, like I know a few gay people. I know a few bisexual people.
Well, I know if you're counting bisexuals. Well, if we,
I think they're slightly different.
Yeah, we count.
Turns out I actually know a transgender person. It's just that they don't introduce themselves as transgender.
Oh, that's right. I know a transgender person.
Yeah. Did they walk up to you and go, "Hello, my name is"?
No, they
No. That's the problem. Is if you want to insert it, if you want to go, we need a representation. You create an artificial situation where it's not a character. It's a.
Yeah, we've covered that, I think.
That hurts. That does a lot of damage. Ow! Fucking Jesus.
That question was from Dark Rail Lord 3.
He's got a grenade launcher. That's why it's flying right at me.
Is he the boss?
Yeah.
He's the big boss.
I wonder how I beat this. I was probably rolling a lot more.
He's got the weird knot top hairdo.
Yeah, he's Asian.
Man, it's like Invasion USA.
All
these terrorists from all over the world
come
to kill the Americans.
They're just jealous.
Of course.
Jealous of America's
Jealous of their freedoms.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, that's freedom to just run around and have a shootout in a park.
Do self-destruct systems on spaceships serve an actual purpose, or do they only exist for plot reasons from come the hour?
I could see it as being a way to prevent, like, technology falling into hands you don't want it to get into.
Yeah, I was about to say that. The only circumstance in which it really makes sense is in like war, and you don't want the enemy getting back engineering your tech. But
I mean, there are certain circumstances, like if there are like enough suitable threats in the universe, like there's maybe space viruses or shit. It might be like a.
I mean, it might make sense in a sort of Star Trek universe where you're still exploring the universe and you don't know if enemies are going to be a threat.
See, that's.
I mean, better to err on the side of caution, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean,
are you just going to get this space moss that just grows infinitely?
Yeah, you can't fly that back to the shop.
Yeah, you fly that back to the station, and I'll just take over that as well.
Because I suppose like planes and boats don't really have a self-destruct button.
Well, no, because especially if we're talking about wartime technology that actually exists, is that there's quite a space premium. And it's not that if you need to scuttle a ship for intelligence reasons, it's not that difficult just to plant some.
Use the explosives you've got on board.
Plant some C4 at the bottom of the hull. If you want a plane, just drive smack into the floor.
just get out of the plane, really. That solves itself.
Done with plane.
Yeah.
Whee!
Off you go. You're
What
free.
if they back engineer your parachute technology? What if they back engineer our indestructible black box? Oh no!
Like indestructible
Hoist
black
by
men.
our own petard.
That's pretty much what fucking destroyed Carthage. Rome didn't have boats. They found a Carthaginian boat. Then they had a navy.
Yeah, that works, I guess. It's like fighting the Borg.
Ow.
They just adapt.
They learn to just eat bullets and find them yummy. Die, die, die. Die, 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 die.
Yahtzee, are you ever going to do more occasional guide to retarded moments in gaming history? Which is an occasional series I did all of twice. In zero punctuation.
I don't remember
When
those.
when I literally had nothing else to do that week. Because it was the slow season. Well, I'd like to do another one, but I just haven't really thought of one to do. I mean, I did ET 2600, which is the most retarded moment in all of gaming history.
The game literally doesn't work. Doesn't matter. Let's release it.
I did Daikatana, but the plot of the game that takes too long and turns out shit is... It's happened quite a few times, but you can only really tell that story once.
I think the thing that makes Daikatana an exemplar is the sheer audacity of the marketing scheme that went around it.
Yeah, I mean, at least Duke Nukem Forever wasn't calling us a bitch the whole time.
Yeah, it wasn't going, Duke Nukem Forever's gonna come into your house and fuck your mother and eat your cereal and you'll be happy it did. Like...
Well, they did say other things that were hilarious in retrospect, like always bet on Duke.
I wouldn't put anything the Duke Nukem Forever marketing did at the same level.
I mean, even calling it Duke Nukem Forever was hilarious in hindsight. Well, jokes wrote themselves, really, didn't they? It really did take that long. Well, the other idea I thought about doing was the censorship row surrounding that Jack Thompson was the figurehead of. But I figure there's the usual trend in the series is to examine how those lessons can be carried over to the present day. And if I did that, I probably couldn't help it becoming needlessly political in an severely unwanted way.
Yeah, it doesn't want attention.
Well, I just don't want to, incite the old debate. All these Anita Sarkeesians are saying the same thing Jack Thompson said, but for some reason we're giving them a platform this time.
Same thing that Murtham said about comics.
Yes, it's the seduction of the innocent. Bad things make kids bad.
I'm doing a lot of reading on that, actually. The history of expanding out of some of what I've been doing on...
The history of the moral panic?
Yes. I have a few...
that is the official term, I believe.
Yeah, I got a few books. There's one that disagrees with a lot of... there's... The Folk Devils book is probably the most popular and most well-known.
Turns out True Lies for the SNES has quite a good start-to-crate ratio.
And there's a book I'm reading at the moment called The Myth of Moral Panics, but it is not... It's not saying that moral panics don't exist so much, it's getting into a more detailed sociological...
It's saying that they're always based on myths.
Well, no, the problem is, like, the sociologists who wrote Seduction of the Innocent and a few other things sort of make more specific conclusions that this book kind of argues against. And they do have points, but they're not arguing that the moral panics themselves don't happen, they're arguing with sort of subsequent conclusions, which is kind of a, I'm on fire.
Ooh, alternative death animation.
Yeah, there's a lot of effort went into this game. I loved this game growing up. Because look at that! Look at it, fucking shoot him and he exploded and that was just,
Do you know what start to crate is, by the way? The start to crate ratio?
That's like the time it takes from pushing start to when you find your first fucking interactable item in a game.
Yes,
it's a game dev term.
It was something coined by Old Man Murray back in the early days of the internet and web game journalism. Old Man Murray, whose dudes now work for Valve, incidentally, and who I've met. Name drop, name drop.
You know your Yahtzee Crowshaw, right? You don't actually have to name drop much. Like,
well, it's fun to.
I'm just saying, like you can.
It's
do
fun
it if
to
you
also
want.
name drop. Everyone...
Like, most people would consider you famous.
Yes.
Oh, look at that! There's a fucking train!
Yes, but there are other people I consider famous, and it never ceases to impress me that I've met these people.
Okay.
I mean, I don't consider myself, that meeting me is that interesting because I know who I am. Because
that meeting you was almost horrible for fans of you.
It would take an enormous egotist to say, yes, I am a name drop.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Yes.
Alright, so you were saying, I want to get a little more detail on this.
Old Man Murray's theory was that since every single game in the world contains crates, then surely every single game in the world can be judged by their crates. And so if the amount of time that passes between starting the game and the appearance of a crate is directly proportional to the game's quality. It was a joke article, obviously. And there was some broad interpretations of crate in some cases. They eventually had to decide that barrels counted as crates. And if it was a flaming barrel, it counted for double crates. Kingpin Life of Crime actually went into negative points, because you start the game looking at a flaming barrel.
Oh, you can't roll through Steam.
There's a story that when Gabe Newell was working on Half-Life, he was a fan of Old Man Murray at the time. And he wanted to make a game that they would like. And he thought about trying to make a game with no crates at all, but it just wasn't practical.
Yeah.
You just create something that is effectively the same as a crate. And hey, turns out a lot of games are set in industrial areas, and a lot of industrial areas contain storage areas, which inevitably contain crates. But one thing that was pointed out, that I remember being pointed out in the original articles, was that you always see crates, but you never see pallets. So the question is, how the fuck did the crates get there? Could the crates even fit through the doors of the room?
That, I think, is a better question, because I swear I've seen situations where the crates were just built inside the building.
Because you need pallets to lift crates with a forklift. Which is how most crates are moved around. Storage areas.
'Tis how it is done.
Buh. Yahtzee, as someone from the UK, how do you feel about UKIP stroke Brexit?
Didn't we deal
Yeah, as I read that, we've talked about this, haven't we? Well, let's move on then.
Alright. Who dared ask that question again?
Tuckeran3. What is your position on taste? Taste in music, books, movies, clothing, and so on. Can it be objectively good or bad? Is there a connection between taste and intelligence? That's from core_Zapesh. Now, obviously, as someone who enjoys bottom, I have a vested interest in saying that no, I don't believe there's a connection between taste and intelligence.
No, there absolutely isn't. Taste is like, and critical assessment is completely different. No one in any fucking critical lit course or anything like that asks you if you like something. None of the questions for essays are, do you like this? It's irrelevant.
Working in video games, there is certainly such a thing as an objectively bad video game if it's mechanically poorly made. The
video games are a very unique sort of element in that
And
regard.
if you like a game that's objectively bad, then I'd say you have poor taste. But I think when you say taste, yeah, we're using more the bottom sense of things that are in poor taste, and consequently funnier.
Ooh, gotta get across there.
Ooh, it's like the train yard from Half-Life 2.
Honk.
This is exactly what it's like in every single way.
This is actually Half-Life 3. It just went back in time.
Well, that explains everything.
Yeah, doesn't it? It's a flawless fan theory. It needs to go on the internet.
Okay. Let's kill that riff where it is. I guess there might be such a thing as objectively poor taste if we're talking about pure aesthetic things. Like if you've painted your house lime green.
Well, it's a matter of, like, when the fucking crit weirdos argue amongst themselves, it has to be about comparisons.
Guy killed himself with his own mind. What a twat.
When you start making comparisons, then you reduce the amount of potential criteria that you're debating, because taste is fundamentally irreducible. I like this. Well, you shouldn't. Well, I like it. There's just no point. There's no argument to it.
Okay, but
So when
if something's offensive to the eye, it could be because...
that's taste. I mean, there are people who wear ridiculous outfits that I think are fucking retarded, but they like them, and there's no basis upon which to...
What if something looks so horrible it makes you physically ill?
There are foods that do that. I mean, the Chinese eat those things that are, like, not fully
Well, yes,
hatched.
those are what we call bad-tasting foods.
Well, yeah, but they don't think they taste bad. They don't eat them and go, ooh, this is gross, lovely.
I guess it's an acquired taste.
It's like Vegemite, you know? I love Vegemite. No.
I've said taste so many times, it's losing its all meaning.
Taste.
Taste. You know what word kind of bothers me? Just from the way it sounds? The word crisps.
I know what you mean.
Because it's that bit at the end.
Because haven't you mentioned that foreigners tend to find English a very hissy language?
That's what I've heard. Non-English speakers describe English as a very hissy language because we have more sibilants than in other languages. And I see what they mean when you say crisps or ghosts.
Bumped a train.
Well, yeah, that'll happen if you bump a train. You just got the entire front half of your body sanded off.
Woo woo! God, yeah, you've done that to my head now. Crisps. I say chips.
Crisps.
Which isn't that much better, but I think it misses the SPS.
Well, yeah, because it's S consonant S that feels wrong.
I think because the P is also a...
God, it makes you want to urinate hearing that, doesn't it?
My auntie calling a cat. Video games. Picked up a lever. Probably useful.
I always found if you want to get a cat or a dog to come over you, just go...
I tend to do the clicking more.
That's the sound that seems to intrigue them. Probably because it sounds like a squirrel, and they like those.
Something scuttling under leaves.
Always a head turner. And if you're trying to make friends with a dog, scratch just above their tail.
It works for cats too.
They will stop in their tracks. They'll go, ooh, how gauche, ooh, but I like it.
I shouldn't enjoy this, but I do. I can cook the grenade.
You can also try scratching the inside of their leg, but then you might touch Dog Willy.
It's the risk you gotta run.
Well, quite.
Just gotta,
It's like
do you want a friend, or are you scared of touching Dog Willy? That's...
Well, make very sure that it's a neutered dog, I suppose.
Yeah, well, just finish the job.
Red Rocket.
There was, like, some neighbors up the road had a dog called Harley, which everyone just called Humpy, because it would, if you at any point you were prone or low enough, it would just try and root you.
Yeah, my old dog was like that before he was neutered. It was just his first instinct, I guess.
I love how we kind of put up with that. Like, what's this do? Well, I keep it around the house. It smells terrible and attempts to rape me. It's my best friend.
Well, there's no penetration occurring. Hopefully.
Hopefully. Alright, where's this go? What fucking little secrets we got in here?
Yahtzee! Do you have any writing exercises that you do or recommend for someone who wants to practice writing or for enhancing creativity? That's from Jazz
with a
Neurotic.
pen in his mouth.
Well, write every day is the obvious one. Stephen King says, read 4 hours a day and write 4 hours a day. But, everyone has their own methods. I'm too much of a pacing sort of writer to stay in one place long enough to do that. Sorry, I'm not as much of a hack that he is.
Fight. Start a Twitter feud with Stephen King. That'd be great.
I mean, I'm
gonna do that when I get home. I'm gonna put a bunch of hashtags up.
I'm usually writing a novel, more often than not. And I try to write a page a day to keep myself ticking over. Don't want to stagnate. You don't want to let the pace drop. I've got pretty good willpower about this. I have to write a page a day,
Shit.
I never skip it, no matter how tempted I am. Because the moment you skip it, you set a precedent. That's what I got to say to myself. The moment I skip today, I've set a precedent, and it will make it easier the next time. So no excuses. Also, if you're talking about exercises, if you're writing about like a fictional story or something, one thing I quite like to do is write an imaginary Wikipedia article, an in-universe Wikipedia article about one of the characters, places, things, or events that take place in your book. Just write it from a purely objective historical viewpoint, and then
like it were an actual fact.
And then
Would you recommend that's good for like universe building?
I'd say so. Yeah. Well, it also helps write the book itself because it helps frame like the events that you have to push through an emotional, fictional viewpoint. Helps frame it objectively, so you can consider the angles. So I recommend that.
Roll through Steam. Shitty. There's nothing up there. Fuck you.
Roll through Steam. Gently across the floor. Steam. Merrily, shoot the hostages more.
Alright. I feel like I'm being fucked with here. Alright. Oh no.
Not by me, you're not.
No.
Hands off.
No.
I notice there's cheater's darkness being applied to you. As in a filter where they just alternate black pixels.
Pack blixels.
Black pixels. It's like sort of dithering, but somehow even lazier.
Why there's no Australian games industry.
Yes, cheaters alpha blending, that's what I call that. Just alternate transparent pixels.
We're all cheaters here, Harry. We're all cheaters here. Fucking die. Die.
No, I've got more living to do first.
Goes nowhere.
How would you make audio logs and written documents interesting for the player? Which games, if any, do it best? From Lexabyte. Good question, Lexabyte. In my opinion, the best environment for an audio log collectible plot is a game in which there is something about the plot that is to be revealed. Or there's like a larger situation that needs to be established, or some kind of central mystery. That's why it works in System Shock 2. Because you're piecing together the events of what happened in the time that you were unconscious. Am I right? I remember specifically saying about...
Is that the only example you can think of one that was done, like, well?
I suppose I tolerated it in Quantum Break, thinking of recent examples, because it all sort of helped me piece the plot together, because that's again got a sort of mystery behind it where you have to figure out the mechanics of the time travel situation that took place and have already taken place and that will take place in the future.
What about things like Witcher, where it can kind of add fun universal lore?
Well, I don't really have much time for that sort of thing. I don't pause to read all the fictional books in Skyrim, for example.
I don't know how long they are in Skyrim, but I've always found the ones in...
I think having some kind of investment helps. I mean, the example... I think it was in the Alien vs Predator review, where I said, it makes sense in System Shock 2 to have audio logs. Not so much in Alien vs Predator, because we all fucking know what happened. Like, the audio logs going, what's happening? All these mysterious disappearances! And what are these strange eggs I'm seeing? It's like, yeah, it's aliens. We've danced this rodeo a few times before, thanks.
So do you think that can be a real problem when, due to no real fault of the game's own, the story is so well known outside?
Well, if it's just generic people reacting to the stuff going on, that's where it's boring. Like Dead Space, that was almost constantly that. Like, oh no, I'm going to have to saw my arms and legs off. I will keep this audio running while I do it because I'm mad.
Yeah, I
feel there needs to be a record of me sawing my legs off. Oh, I had to laugh when I listened to that. There was this horrible sound and screaming, and then he went, and now the other one.
Now the other one.
Thanks for cataloguing the process.
I feel like I'm going backward. Yeah, I'm definitely going backward. Okay, I got a handle. I'm not sure what the handle does.
You got any opinions on audio logs?
No. I think they became the same people who would really lazily insert like sort of exposition FMVs and whatnot. They became the lazily inserted universe building. Like they're just sort of there when they can't think of a better way to explain the kind of narrative.
It's like that sequence at the end of the Silent Hill film where they just have one of the characters explain the plot.
Yeah,
over a little montage.
If it gets to the end and you realize that's what's happening, maybe take exactly what you've written and go, okay, how do I sprinkle this, like 11 secret herbs and spices, throughout the story? And you'll probably wind up with something pretty good. You go, oh, there you go. So it's a full...
I think it sort of hurts when you think of cutscenes in terms of being expositional. And that's what I always liked about Silent Hill 2, is that there's virtually no exposition in cutscenes. If anything, all of them just raise more questions.
Yeah, it makes things worse.
It's like, why doesn't everyone seem to be seeing the same things I'm seeing? Why is that little girl such a fucking bitch? That question was from Lexabyte. Again, I can't remember if I said that. Team Cap or Team Iron Man? Brosy104. Brosy104 being the person who asked that question.
Okay, I was going to say I was Team Brosy104.
So, the ideology of this, presumably, is the thing where Captain America doesn't believe that superheroes should register with the government, and Iron Man does.
Yeah, essentially. Like, it was a little more complicated than that. I think Cap had a point. I don't think the movie had Captain America make his point very well. Like, the result was Stark just always seemed the more rational of the two, and for that reason I kind of...
There's the movie out, is it?
Yes.
I haven't seen it
already. To a degree, found myself sort of siding with him. Even though I do think he has a valid point that, especially like given Captain America's history, where he's seen what happens when the people giving the orders have, you know, been corrupted from the inside. I think he had a valid point. I just don't think the movie did a terribly great job of balancing, like really having Captain America express precisely why.
Well, it makes perfect sense to me that if you want to do vigilante things, that you might need something to answer to.
Yeah, well, that's what made Stark's point like quite good in this film was, yeah. And it was the Accords were being signed by like 117 countries, so it's like what's the option here? You don't really have there's no good choice.
I mean, there has to be accountability, because otherwise what you're doing is Black Ops, and we all know where that ends up. That ends up with overthrowing the democratically elected government of South American countries.
But I mean, by the same token, you know, Cap's been in a situation where he was following orders and doing what he thought was the right thing, and it turned out that the people giving the orders were, you know, secretly evil. So, you know, he had a decent motivation.
Well, there's no such thing as an incorruptible authority.
No, and that was, you know, part of his point.
And we're not saying put them under the control of the governments. We're just saying have some kind of accountability.
Well, I mean, I think that was, you know, they weren't allowed to activate unless the UN Council said that they should, and...
Well, they won't be going out much, will they? Waiting for the UN to agree on something?
Well, yeah, that was another one of his points was, you know, what if they send us somewhere where we don't want to go, and what if they tell us not to go somewhere where we need to be?
Well, suck it up. I mean, what if the police get sent to break up rioters that they don't want to do? They got to do it, because it's the job.
Alright, no way out there.
I mean, you gotta... I mean, the military falls apart without the chain of command, doesn't it?
Yeah. Look at this, here's a game dev thing. It's like, where should I go next? Well, this wall's just not a wall.
It's a retro game dev thing.
Alright. This is just the fucking...
Are the trains frustrating you?
Well, it's just this area is a bit of a maze.
You're dead.
Sploot. Was there did you see a thing there to the left?
I
found a handle or something.
I don't think you
have
that is
time.
No, that is just where the trains
a dead
come out.
end.
Did you ever play Blood, the first one?
Blood.
Yeah, the build engine shooter.
Does not ring a bell.
Okay then. Well, there was I think it was the first level of that game, or the second, where you're in a train station. And you can go down the tunnel that the trains come out of, and then as you do it, a little text prompt appears saying, "This probably isn't a good idea." Then if you keep walking, you get smashed by a train. That's attention to detail, kids. See, these days they just put an invisible wall over the tunnel entrance. I miss those little touches in games.
Maybe I do have to go back. There's probably like a thing a lever I have to switch.
Did you ever play No One Lives Forever?
No, it rings a bell though.
It was a 60s style spy thing by
Sounds like fun.
I think it was Monolith.
What was it like? What console was that on?
It was PC, PC shooter. I think it was on I think it was on PS2. It was pretty good though. It was a sort of a comedy spy game and actually had some actual laughs in it.
Mother of God.
And there was some fun, nice little touches in it. Like, there was one of those situations where you have to ride a train and then jump off it to get to the place we need to be. But you could also stay on the train, and the train would go through a tunnel, then it would cut to a map of the entire world and show a red line going from city to city and then coming back around, coming back to the original city, and then you emerge from the starting tunnel on the same level.
That is funny. I like that.
Yes,
You've gone on a magical mystery tour. You've seen some sights. Get back to the game now.
Well, we've done our usual time.
Oh, good.
If you've had enough of
I can't.
being hit by trains and steam.
And landmines. Steam, landmines, and trains.
Yeah, I don't remember this elongated phase of the film either.
Well, I found a handle, and I know I have to use the handle somewhere. I just can't for the life of me remember where.
Oh, I didn't even get to
Sploot.
see Jamie Lee Curtis in her pants.
There's the whole resistor boner gameplay element.
Oh.
Oh, look at that. Fucking swish.
Oh well. Do you remember, have I ever told my Schwarzenegger joke on this series?
I don't know. Please tell it.
You'd probably have remembered. Well, I say that, but you never do.
Nope.
Arnold Schwarzenegger doesn't get any Easter eggs one year.
Oh.
Is it sounding familiar yet? I feel like I must have said it at some point, because this is a joke I keep bringing out. But anyway, Arnold Schwarzenegger doesn't get any Easter eggs one year, and his secretary says, "Does this mean you don't like Easter anymore, Governor Schwarzenegger?" And Arnie says, "No, I still love Easter, baby."
Oh, I see. There's a little wrinkles in the wall there that might indicate a hidden path. But no, I haven't heard that one before, but that hurt me inside.
Well, I happen to think it's quite clever.
Yeah, but it's like that horrible. Like I like it, but it's that horrible pun clever that sort of.
Well, it's not that.
It's a delicious pain.
I mean, it's not that tortured as puns go.
No, to its credit, it does sneak up reasonably quickly.
Yes. Well, that was going to be my closing joke, but now we're still talking.
This place has like the best train service. Like, how long are you waiting for a train here?
Yeah, well, this must be in Japan.
Yeah.
They're waiting 2 seconds. Or they're all just crashing into a wall off screen. There's just a huge pile of them.
Some demented supervillain is taking control of the train
Yeah,
system.
that's what the terrorists are doing.
Oh!
Yeah, they're just sent 2 carriages at a time down the tunnel. They're going to run out soon. I think you should call their bluff.
This is what happens when you invest too much in public transport. You just give terrorists ways to hurt you. Oh, look, more.
I need another joke to finish on.
Yep.
Give me a parameter.
The Queen.
I ain't got one.
No. Good night.
Bums. Queen. Stamps. Coins. The civil list. A husband says insensitive things to foreign peoples.
He really does.
Oh, and a new prince was born recently. That's a thing.
Huh. I think I found where... Because that's an infinite train, so I've got to go find a fucking... Alright.
Oh, I could tell the Princess Diana joke.
There we go. Alright, let's go.
What was the last thing that went through Princess Diana's head before she died?
I don't know what.
The radiator.
Alright.